Okay, hello everyone. It's Tuesday. This must be Denmark. And we successfully, I hope you weren't too worried last night, we successfully got our credentials and actually entered the Bella Center and were able to participate in the day's events. It was still not easy. It was another 3 or 4 hours actually outside. You'll see some footage of the Danish army actually delivering coffee to people standing hot, wonderfully hot coffee to people who were standing in line. We did eventually get in, though, a few small little comical last bureaucratic hurdles to jump, which you'll see documented in some of the films we've uploaded. But all in all, success for us. And I think most people now were able to actually get credentialized and enter at least part of the forum. The numbers, according to the New York Times, that we were passing on to you yesterday, kind of the rumors and estimates, turned out to be pretty much on the mark. Looks like 45,000 people have registered for the event. Of course, they're limiting the number of people who actually be in the building to 15,000. But we managed to attend a number of terrific panels. Probably the most impressive was that done by Mayor Bloomberg on a panel about different levels of government in the United States and tactics that they are taking to try to mitigate their carbon emissions and their energy consumption. Mayor Bloomberg, as always, was terrific. Actually, on a rare example of my ability to pull any influence, my colleague, my former colleague, the sustainability director of the city of New York, Rit Agarwal, actually spotted me through the glass and was able to wave me in where I could get a much better seat, which I'm passing on to you, to listen to the mayor's remarks. And they were terrific. They were largely focused very much on their new building focus, which of course is an interest of us at the T.C. Chan Center, and about a new 4-part program that the city is implementing that will require a set of mandatory energy audits, a set of benchmarks that will benchmark the annual performance of existing buildings, a new energy code that buildings will be required to meet, all new buildings and all existing buildings over a period of years, and then a new retrofit program that will actually make the investments that the audit and the benchmarks identify as necessary to meet the new energy code. It's a very ambitious project that, as you'll hear Mayor Bloomberg note, existing buildings are so much the key to our ability to both reduce emissions but also get some control over our energy consumption and reduce our vulnerability to rising energy prices. Buildings represent, in most places, for example in Philadelphia, about 50% of our overall energy consumption is related to the construction, maintenance, and occupation of buildings. In New York, it's actually higher because of their density and their reliance on transit, so it's more like 85% in New York. But as Mayor Bloomberg noted in his remarks, 85% of buildings that exist today in the city of Manhattan will still be in use 30 years from now. So until we've come up with a way of grappling at scale with the energy profile of existing buildings, it's going to be very difficult for us to meet the kinds of challenges that are being talked about in Copenhagen. And New York has outlined a very serious strategy for doing that over the next 10 years. You will hear also, I can't help but note, you will hear Mayor Bloomberg call out a target about reducing 30%, by 30%, the city government's energy consumption by the year 2017. I will just note that Philadelphia's Greenworks framework identifies a 30% reduction in our municipal government by 2015, so we beat them by 2 years. New York also states a very ambitious citywide energy goal that I'll let the mayor explain to you. But so there was that, and quite a few other things that we caught snippets of. Caught a few minutes of Tom Friedman's panel appearance, the Mayor of London. Basically everywhere you look in this conference, there are mayors, heads of state, heads of major NGOs out trying to grab a little bit of the spotlight, trying to make their case. Now, I will close with this, although I have no special insight into this, have no access to certainly what's going on behind closed doors in the various treaty negotiations, the committees and pieces of that are going on right now. I have to say that my own sense of the room is that in fact there's being significant progress made. That I think there is still a rising expectation, regardless of some of the distractions going on with the demonstrations, which I must say, as someone who's been focused on getting into the talks themselves, have been elsewhere. Right? Regardless of the distractions of those events going on in other parts of the city, frankly, I think there's some real traction being made, especially among the major emitters. The African delegation, of course, walked out a couple days ago. They are largely back, and so I think there is still some real hope, and also some evidence of some traction about getting close to a real deal by the end of the session, by Saturday. So enough of that. We'll let you just take it all in for yourself firsthand, and thank you, and I will see you again tomorrow.